So, Tron Ares is a movie that came out recently under Disney, and after watching it, I only had one thought.
Sean, what's going on? Our prison's a computer, but the rhythm's strong.
And that pretty much sums up the entirety of Tron Ares. I don't really know or understand why this movie was dusted off in order to be brought out to try and revitalize a franchise, but Tron Legacy was a movie that essentially kind of was the nail in the coffin, really. It had potential for a sequel if you're following the story, but the movie itself is so uninspiring and uninteresting that it didn't really warrant it. Ironically enough, Tron Legacy was also in the same boat, considering the fact that Tron itself, coming out from so many years ago, was also a very much kind of movie. I mean, it had its following, people understood it, it became a pop culture thing and whatnot, but honestly, in terms of movies, like, it's just okay. It was just really okay. The effects that they did and the stuff that they did at that time were groundbreaking and visually stunning and very iconic for what Tron is. But honestly, if it didn't really garner a sequel then, when they made Tron Legacy, when they did, it didn't really garner a sequel then. So Tron Ares, being the sequel of a sequel, really was a shot in the dark. And honestly, it kind of draws you into the fact that it's been receiving such negative press by people. And I was genuinely curious as to see whether or not it actually warranted. And honestly, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, the fact that so many people have said so many bad things about the Tron Ares movies, and it's like, do I think that it deserves all that? Yes, it does. It's a bad movie. It's not as bad as some people are putting it, I would say, but it is very bad. It's as bad minus 1%. But it's a really bad movie. It's so bad. I would say the hate boner a lot of people are giving this movie, a lot of that comes, just let's get this out of the way. A lot of that comes from the distaste of Disney and all that they've done with stuff over the years. And essentially this being another franchise that they just would stomp all over just to make a quick buck. It just goes to show you that it's like, yeah, there's nothing really good coming out of that company. So I understand that mentality towards that company, but I don't think that the Tron Ares movie needs to have that hate regulated towards it. It doesn't is it's not so bad that it deserves that. I mean, the MCU has pumped out stuff way worse than Tron Ares by a long shot that hasn't even received this much hate. But then again, the MCU has released stuff that people don't even watch. I'm surprised people even went to go watch this. But yeah, I feel that that's a major focus that a lot of people are having with that. But as far as a breakdown of a movie goes, everything that everyone is saying is completely right and justified. This movie is bad. So here's my review. First, I'm gonna break down what the movie itself is. Tron Ares picks up after Tron Legacy, apparently. And the company that essentially was the focal point of everything within all of the Tron movies is now ran by an Asian woman who is not connected to the main character at all. She herself actually inherited the company from her sister, who happened to have passed away from a disease, I believe cancer. And then she got the company because that's how CEOs are chosen. And that's basically it. And the movie kind of hyper focuses on the fact that the company itself is having a major release of a video game, but it's some type of a tech company. But the video game release is like the biggest premiere that they've done for their company for years, which begs the question, exactly what does the company do? I don't know. They don't really specify. Years have passed, so who knows what it is that they could have like dabbled in or transitioned into and whatnot. But there's the rival company that essentially what initiated from the first Tron, and that company has figured out a way to take entities from the digital era of Tron, or digital age of Tron, the age era, those are times, the digital world of Tron, and actually bring them into existence. Now, the CEO of the company is putting his foot in his mouth because he's promising something he can't actually promise, because the entities can only exist within 29 minutes, which is a major, huge detail that the movie consistently tends to forget. And they just make up whatever the hell they want to make up. It's just as poorly written as the In Time movie with Justin Timberlake, where you can clearly tell just by basic things, from the sun setting, sun rising, it getting dark, span of time passing from characters going from one location to another, that more time has passed than the actual movie is indicating in order for that 29-minute standpoint to actually falter. But it's bad. It's really bad. So the company's put its foot in his mouth because they need actually a program in order for them to completely have something brought in from the digital world, and it stays, but they have no idea where to find this program. Then, just lo and behold, at that point in time when this discussion is being had, the Asian CEO lady that's running the good guy company, she figured out what the code was. She figured it out, and then she immediately was flying back home, and then she decides to get on a motorcycle. In which case, then the bad guys figure out that she figured out what it was, and then they send Jared Leto after her. Now, Jared Leto was supposed to be AI created by the evil company called Ares. And he's supposed to be the most sophisticated, smart, and intellectual AI that has ever been created. And the thing is that he wants the program so that he can become permanent. So it's called the Permanence Program or something like that. And he wants the program so he can become alive. He wants to be a real boy. And despite the fact that he's given orders to do all this other stuff, he actually wants to defy those orders so he can become a real boy, which is not at the behest of what his control is. And then he also happens to be the Master Control Program, which they kind of say, but it doesn't really have the same effect as what it always had in Tron, which is also weird. And so then he helps the CEO lady gets away. She gets transferred into the world. They escape. Then they're in the real world. He only got 29 minutes for her to refigure out what the code was, so then they can make him a real boy. And Jeff Bridges shows up for some reason for like a couple of seconds, and then he just... You're seeing within the world of Tron these computer entities talk, which should honestly be like nanoseconds, and it's taking them just genuinely like almost 30 minutes of time for them to just walk and talk about nothing. Like was it Duran Duran? Or no, not Duran Duran. Damn, it was some band that he really liked. But that happens, and then you just got bad guys coming after the good guys. They still only got the 29 minutes left. Then Jared Leto actually gets the program so he can become a real boy. Then he saves the CEO chick, who then is like, "You did it," and he's like, "We did it," and then she's like, "Yay!" And then he just goes off to be a real boy, and he sends her a postcard for some reason explaining to her that I'm living. I don't know exactly what that means, what that deals with, or what that entails, or what exactly it is that I actually wanted to do while being alive, but I am alive, and that's the movie. That's the whole movie. That's all that there is from the movie. Positives. Let me break down some positives first. If there is any positive to take away from this movie, is that the special effects is actually very, very good. Surprising from something from Disney. The special effects are very good, and the choreography for the fights actually utilized a lot of like the Tron light mechanics. So like the little listing beams that would be left over from when they fight and stuff like that. People were jumping off of those, flipping over them and stuff like that. And that actually was very well done and interesting when the choreography was able to keep up with that CGI. And other times their fight scenes were fairly slow and very like just boring for things that are supposed to be the most sophisticated and warrior based AI systems and whatnot, if that's their original intent. But they fought kind of lame, but there was certain times where I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool, but other times it was like, all right, whatever. So that's it for the good. That's it for the good. The bad. This movie is boring. There's nothing interesting going on. Multiple times the movie actually breaks away from its own rules to just kind of have stuff happen without the plot actually making any sense. They're just way too many moments of characters just going from point A to point B without you actually knowing or understanding exactly what is the significance of it. It's just that they did it. Hell, a giant ship is brought in from the digital world, and essentially, I said digital world and I immediately think of Digimon, but something is brought over from the digital world over into the real world, and it's honestly too big to actually create, yet it gets created. There's nothing to actual, there's nothing happens in the movie that goes, oh, well, this is how they did it, or, well, they did it anyway and it broke all of this and whatnot. And it's like, no, he just said that's too big, and then she just made it anyway. And I was like, okay, I guess. It's very goofy in how they do stuff. Multiple times you see throughout the movie is like, all right, you have this happening for some reason, but why is the character doing this? Why is the character doing that? Just so much exposition being done. I can't even specify exactly how terrible some of the dialogue and the actions and the plot progression actually is without basically spending hours on end breaking down this movie. I'm not equipped for that. But you gotta trust me. It's just really not put together well. The fact that you have multiple main characters, one being the CEO that runs the company, as well as Jared Leto's character, Ares, the fact that you have both of them have no type of chemistry whatsoever. They're incredibly boring whenever they're on screen together. He is trying to act robotic, almost as if he's the Terminator and she's John Connor or something. But it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Being a sophisticated AI, a lot of the movements and actions that he takes are very dumb and idiotic. They're not logical. It's just more so not even emotion based. It's just, this is stupid, but it seems as if the movie needed this to happen in order for plot. I mean, in the beginning of the movie, there's a chase scene, and in the chase scene, the human is driving, into which they then pull over because it's like, well, we need a faster car, and then Jared Leto takes over. But why wasn't he driving in the first place? Hell, the entire story hinders on the bad guys needing to get a program that the main character saw. Now, she destroyed the program, but because she saw it when they brought it into the Tron world, they can just extract it out of her, but in doing so could kill her. As they do, just she had a quick little flash of a memory, and so that's something you could easily pull up, but because that happened, it could kill her. Why? Plot, I guess. Just plot. And to which one of the reasons why Ares saves her. Now then, there's a whole plant that existed in Alaska that was actually made using this program. And if you have the capabilities to actually send things to the digital world, wouldn't it make sense to send something that already was created from the digital world that now holds the program that can keep things permanently in the real world? Just go there, get that tree, and then take the data from it, and then you'll be able to permanently bring things into the real world. Also, why are you in such a rush to actually get a program to make everything permanent anyway? You're clearly striving in the correct way to make these things real and tangible. So you're doing something right, because even the movie begins with the main character after it's revealed when he's lying to shareholders and whatnot about the capabilities of bringing Ares and different weaponry from the digital world into the real world, that it was revealed that essentially the original runtime was 25 minutes. Now you have 29 minutes. And then according to this movie, 29 minutes is a very long period of time in which these things and their weaponry can do some major damage. Yet this movie completely overlooks it, as if them not being able to stay around permanently is just the worst. And honestly, them having a limited runtime could be used very well in espionage things, because there'd be no trace left behind in case something goes bad. For mission failure, they get caught or they get hurt or anything like that, they're just gone. It's like, and so it made no sense that the movie took the route that it took to do the things that it did, and then you just have this overarching ridiculous concept of where the bad guys just got blamed for everything and the good guys got away with anything. Oh, we need to hack the bad guy system. We can do it. How do you how do you know you can do it? We just can, because we're smart, I guess. All right, well, they hacked the bad guy system then. Hey, they win. There you go. Stuff like that happens all throughout the movie. It is very goofy based and almost seems like it's a story being told to you by like a 3-year-old who had this just amazing idea that they saw Tron, and it's like, what if this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. They also saw what a 3D printer does, and then they just went off to the races. But Tron Ares was not a good film. It's not a good film at all. It's very much lacking and completely ridiculous and redonkulous. It has no type of emotional weight towards anything. The actors are very bland and uninteresting. I don't remember anyone's name aside from Jared Leto's character, whose name is Ares, because that's in the goddamn title. Other than that, everyone else is ridiculous. There's so many moments where they try to give a wink and a nudge and a nod towards the original Tron characters and cast, and they do nothing with it. Hell, they could have even had it to where Ares himself was essentially an offshoot program created from when Tron fell into the little digital sea at the end of Tron Legacy. How do I remember that? I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that. And that would have made more sense as a connection towards this movie and the previous movies. But instead, it just seems like its own little thing. I mean, you probably could have made a TV show based off of this that would have had more substance than this actual movie. But it was just irrelevant, nonsensical, and ridiculous. And everything about it is just kind of crazy. But if there's anything that this movie really, really, really wants you to believe, or anything from that I've seen from the previews and the trailers and all the promotional stuff that has existed about Tron Ares, is that the soundtrack is really good. The soundtrack is really good. It's really good. Who did the soundtrack? Was it 9 Inch Nails? Somebody did. NIN? I don't know. The soundtrack is really good. They said the soundtrack was really, really good. Daft Punk's was way better, but hey, soundtrack, that's all that matters when you're looking at Tron. Not the visuals, not the story, not the characters, not anything making sense, or even seeing Tron. No, the soundtrack. Woo, whoop, 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 whoop. That's what really matters. That's what's really important. That's the great thing. All right, I'm done with this. This has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Danieltheflame. As always, good people. Hope you had fun.
What's going on? This groove train has commuters riding all night long. Hey there, Tron. What's going on? I know I'd make you feel it by the end of this song.